Hello again, Taylor County. I'm Alex Renneman. I'm here with Peggy Barney, who's running City Council on Ward 3. Peggy, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's my pleasure to be here, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
And for all the work you do for the community.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you, let's just start out. I think a lot of people know you, but let's tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Alex, as you said, most people know a little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Grafton, lived most of my life here, with the exception of when I was away at college, and moved back here. And then we have always lived in the Blueville-Brownlow section of town, and I am married to David Barney for almost 50 years next year.
Wow, congratulations.
We have one son, and I am a proud Graftonian. I am proud of this town. My roots are very deep here. I go back 3 generations of family members who have been born in Grafton. And my dad was a business owner. My great-grandfather was a business owner. And we have, Grafton's our hometown. And I'm proud to be a Graftonian.
That's great. You know, we were talking beforehand. You were telling me the significance of the pineapple you're wearing there. I think you want to share with the folks what that is and why that's so important to you.
Thank you. I'd be happy to. It's a lot of people have seen me. I usually have this pineapple necklace or a pin, or I have some pineapple earrings. Doesn't mean I just came back from Hawaii or that I'm on a strictly pineapple diet, even though I do like pineapple. But I like the pineapple for the symbolism it represents. The pineapple symbolizes welcome, friendship, and hospitality. And I'll try to be as brief as I can, but this all began back when the first settlers settled our country here, and they were all along the East Coast, and most of the men were fishermen. And when they would be gone from their homes for weeks and months at a time, and some went farther out to some of the islands and brought back silks and fabrics and spices and fresh fruit and all that. When they came back home, you know, people spotted that they were coming home, so when they landed, when they got off the ships, they'd have the fresh fruit. They would take a pineapple. And most of the little cottages had fences around the houses. So they would take a pineapple and just stick it right on the post of the gate. And that was a symbol that anybody passing by that, hey, if you don't know it already, the men are back home. Come in, we're going to have a big party. Everybody's welcome. So that's how, and you will notice that at a lot of restaurants and other places, you'll see a big welcome sign with a big pineapple. So that's why I like to wear the pineapple.
That's a great story. You know, I think people have a mindset of what being a city council member of city council is. But what is it to you? What's your perspective on the duties or the job role of being a city council?
First of all, I believe I have been privileged to be able to serve on city council. And the duties are vast and in all directions. Mainly the city council is responsible for the budget with the help of the city manager and the finance director. We all work on the budget and paying the bills and any other items that come up, and when there's a water leak, then somebody has to go fix that, or the maintenance of vehicles. All of these things come before city council. When there's new equipment needed, it's okay, how soon can we get it? How much is it going to cost? Do we have enough money? Do we have to find the resources? And it's just a little bit of everything. But I I will say it's been a privilege for me and my pleasure. I have enjoyed my time on City Council, and we have been involved in a lot of things the last few years, as I know you're aware of, and many people are, and I see progress being made in town, and a lot of it is little steps. It's not big steps yet, but they're coming.
Yeah.
And I just have been proud to be a part of it, and I hope I can continue to see some of the things that I was involved in come to fruition.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about that. When, in terms of your preparedness for this role, and you currently serve on the council as mayor, and what have you had in your past history or your experience, or a challenge or a job role or something that you feel has prepared you to be an effective leader for the city of Grafton?
Well, I do have a background in business. My father owned a business here in Grafton, which was a family business, and when I was younger and still at home, we worked in the business, and then my husband and my husband is a licensed auctioneer in the state of West Virginia, and we're not active now, but for over 45 or more years, we operated Barney's auction service, and we conducted auctions all around the area, and I worked with him in that. He was the auctioneer. You wouldn't believe it now that I did not run my mouth in the auctioneering, but he did. But I helped him. We worked side by side, and my main responsibilities were helping with the booking of the auctions, making listings, doing the advertising, and then filing and keeping records. So I think that has given me an insight into how businesses operate.
Sure.
Although Grafton is a big business. And we are very, very fortunate to have good employees at the city, and a city manager who is very competent and very positive. And our finance director, I believe everybody in town knows Larry Richmond, and he is a good finance director.
Oh, that's great. So if the city of Grafton decides to re-elect you, and so let's play that through. What is your number one priority coming into this next term?
Basically, to continue working on the projects that are in the works. And I do hear, well, there's nothing happening in Grafton, there's nothing to do in Grafton, and why doesn't somebody do something? And we've all heard that. But the thing of it is, there's a lot going on that is not public yet. It's not a secret, but it's just, one thing, we have worked on the old B&O freight station down here behind the post office. And I think there's a lot of people who aren't aware of that. It's been an ongoing project for, I think at least probably about 3 years of acquiring the property from CSX.
Right.
And then there was other things that had to be done. There had to be core drilling and testing the soil and various and numerous other things, which required doing things like that, filling out the forms, sending them back to the proper people, and waiting for them to shuffle them around to 2 or 3 others and waiting for a result. But we are at this place now that we think that we will be doing something visible down there by late summer.
Oh, great.
And hopefully that will be a place for the farmers market, a place for maybe a year-round farmers market and other activities there. And plus, it's saving a piece of historic Grafton.
Yeah, oh, that's great. So let's play that forward a little bit. So, whether it's one more term or 10 more terms, what would you like for your legacy to be at the end when people think back and think about your time on the city council?
That's something I never really, Kevin asked me that one time, Peggy, what do you want your legacy to be? And I said, I've never really thought of a legacy, my legacy. I'm there because I believe in this city. But I have really summed it up. You might see in a little bit my advertising, the 4 Ps. I believe in being positive. I try to approach everything with a positive viewpoint, and instead of saying, well, that's not going to happen, we can't, no. It doesn't look like it now, but let's try. I want to be positive. I want to be professional, handle everything in a professional manner with all the details. And then I want to be proactive and progressive. And then the last P is Peggy.
Great. That's good. That's well thought out. One of the things that I think we ask everybody that's what do you see from your perspective as mayor and on the city council, but as a citizen as well, what do you see as our biggest challenge as the city of Grafton?
I believe that one of our biggest challenges is ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves. And I've often said apathy. We were at one time the city that refused to die. And I choose to believe that we still are the city refused to die. This was back in the 50s when we became an all-American city. I still believe we can refuse to die. Yes, there's setbacks, there's problems. We all know that. But I think many people have suffered and lost a lot, that it's hard for them to reach out for that positive outlook.
Sure.
And but I believe that there's enough of us here, and keeping positive, we got to keep going, because Grafton is worth saving.
It is. I believe so as well. But one more that isn't so positive. I mean, we could certainly try to get positive, but one thing that I think we all look at and we hear about every day, certainly here and across the nation, is the opioid epidemic. And I ask everybody at every level, what can we do? What can be done? And so I ask you, from a council's perspective or a city government perspective, what can be done to help prevent the continued scourge, or to potentially alleviate some of the residual results from that? What in your mind, if you get in, you're reelected in city council, what are things that can be done there?
Well, I do have an answer for you that's rather trite, but I'll hold that for a minute.
Okay.
But I do know that our law enforcement officials here in the county, the state, and the city police department, they are working diligently on this problem. But again, to be negative, it's a problem with no clear solution. And if there had been a clear solution, it would have been done by now.
Sure.
And it's serious, it's tragic, and to see the number of deaths of particularly young people, that I have no answer for that. But my trite answer is, if we had the answer for that, we'd also have the answer for the cure for cancer and world peace.
Sure.
That's where it stands.
It's right up there.
Yeah, and I don't mean to diminish that, but we're all just trying the hardest we can.
Yeah, for sure. So as you know, we polled the citizens of Grafton for questions around various offices, and the City Council was certainly one of those that had a lot of questions. And we tried to group them up into more themes. And so one of the main things people are asking about is the revitalization of downtown. I think it's on everybody's mind if you're thinking about downtown. And we know that the city has just put together a matching program for facades, which is, I think most folks are excited about that. I think it's a good program. In addition, we know there's a lot of money being spent for demolition around the city. But there's an angle on that, a sentiment of folks saying, okay, so we're spending money demolishing, and we're spending some money with facade matching grades. What are we doing around preservation and rehabilitation of some of these structures downtown? And certainly I think it goes beyond that. But from your perspective, being currently on the council as well as seeking re-election, what can be done there, or what should be done there?
Well, you've hit me at home right there.
Okay.
Because I'm happy to see the initiatives that we're taking now. But also, I am heartbroken at the number of historic structures that has been lost in this town.
Sure. That
should never have been. But that's past tense. We can't go backwards. They're gone. We have to move forward. I am very much interested in restoration and revitalization. I would love to see it. Grafton has so much to offer, so much. And there is groups here in town working. But see, this is all being done rather, not quietly, but the average resident is not aware of it. But there's people working on the historic building that the Historical Society owns right here. They don't have a lot of funding. They're doing most of that work themselves and volunteers. And it's coming slow. They've done a lot in the years since they have owned that building. That's just one example. But a lot of the buildings downtown that have been demolished recently is because they were neglected for so long, there's no salvage in them. And one of my hopes is it hasn't been feasible here to date, but when some of these buildings are demolished, to try to salvage any architectural salvage that we can. Because there is people that are restoring old buildings, and they're looking for old locks,
oh, sure,
woodwork, mantles, and everything. Takes a little extra time to sort that out, but if we cannot save the entire structure, can we save parts of it that can be reused? A type of recycling.
Makes sense. Moving from another theme that we had was transportation. And the concept around a bus service or something like that. Now, I know there was some effort at some point with the county and city and some conversations, but it never really got executed, at least in the recent times. Is that something that's even viable? Is it something we should be doing? What's your thoughts around a bus service or public transportation of sorts?
I think it would be very beneficial if it could be worked out. Again, that would take some studies. How many people are going to use this opportunity, and what's it going to cost? And there again, it's all the homework that has to be done. We'd all like to see things happen in Grafton. We just can't snap our fingers and whoops, there it is. Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be great.
If we had Samantha could wiggle our nose. But I think a bus service, I don't know whether it would be viable on a daily basis or not, but that would be things that would have to be looked at, studied, and worked out. Yeah. I do know, though, of course, the senior citizen runs their bus service for the seniors. They take them to the various malls and here and all that, and I think right now that's just about as good as it gets right now, but we can hope for something in the future.
Yeah, you may have already alluded to the answer in this earlier in your platform, but one of the concepts that people are going to, I'm not sure it's a fair assessment, but it's certainly a sense in the community out there that as a city, we are oftentimes stuck in the past or looking to use old solutions to new problems or old solutions that haven't been working to the same problems we've been struggling with. And so the concept, the question is, how progressive of a leader, and which is one of your P's you've already mentioned, but really, if you're coming in here, obviously, again, you're on the council already, but how progressive are we going to be as a city to lead our way to solve some of these new problems, or better yet, accept some of these new challenges and reach some of these new heights as a city?
I'm all for that. But I am just speaking for me. And after this election, we'll see who's on council and all, but I know we have done that. The council that I'm sitting with now, we work I'm very proud to say, we work as a team. And there's not any egos involved. Now, we are all individuals, and we all have our own ideas on various subjects, and we speak freely of them, and we discuss them, and we try, and I think we always do, come to a consensus of what our main objective is, what is going to be best for the community and the citizens who live here. And I would hope that any future councils would try to continue this, and I see that like you. I grew up in this town. You grew up in this town. You've seen it when it was more prosperous, and you've seen it when it was less prosperous. We all have. But I think when there come back to positive and negative. Sometimes people just see the negative. They can't. Sure. They've been down far enough that they can't quite see that, there is hope and there is a possibility. It's not going to happen overnight. We didn't get this way overnight. Mm-hmm. But we're striving to move forward.
Let's just use that and go right into the next question, which is, if you were to sit back on a, hopefully not a wintry spring day like we've had here, and you sit back in the summer, you're relaxing, and you think, boy, Grafton could be, or I'd like for Grafton to be. What's your vision for what Grafton could become?
Oh, my realistic vision or my pie in the sky, or both. I really see that Grafton has the potential to be a great tourist destination. We've got it all. We've got history. We've got natural scenic beauty. We've got good people that are good workers. And we've got railroad history. We've got Civil War history. And I know for a fact that people that are interested in both of those things, they will travel all kinds of miles and spend all kinds of money.
That's the highest spending sector of tourism.
Yes, indeed. And this might be bringing up a sore subject to some, but also there's a group called Rail Fans. Are you familiar with the Rail Fans? It's a bunch of rail fans that they like to go to old railroads, old railroad towns, miniature railroads, the whole 9 yards. But they will spend any amount of money if they can go spend a weekend in a town that has a little hotel or motel that's right near the railroad tracks, and they can hear the choo-choos blowing their whistle and chugging past. I know this. I've met with a lot of them, and this is their thing. That's their getaway. They, some people go hunting, some people go fishing and whatever, but they like that. And we've got that opportunity here. We're sitting right on the railroad. And a little Days Inn or whatever, it might not the brand name Days Inn, but a little inn or something wouldn't have to be big, where somebody could, get the room for a couple nights and a nice place to eat. So these are things that we need to help bring that tourist trade in. We need lodging. We need food establishments. And you know the saying, build it, they will come. And it usually happens. And I'll tell you another thing, I'm branching off here, getting away from your questions. But through the Turn This Town Around, which became All Aboard Grafton, and out of All Aboard Grafton, we have the Adventure Club. I don't know if you're familiar with Adventure Club. Brian Smith has spearheaded that. And again, you and I both grew up in this town. Did you ever see anything on the river?
Yeah, no.
Grafton was a town that the river ran through it. The dam was up here, and the falls were down there. And it went on through Fairmont, Morgantown, and on into Pittsburgh. Never saw anything. Brian has spearheaded a group of people, and they are working diligently to promote healthy living, a healthy lifestyle, and that includes nutrition. That's a part of the deal. And now they have kayaking on the river. Did you ever dream when you were a kid that you would see kayaks floating down the Tigard River?
Yeah, just inner tubes and a case of beer with what you might see.
Yeah. Well, now they're going to have tubing this summer.
Okay, there you go.
A lazy river, and it starts, part of it has started now, but they have Adventure Fest, which is going to last all spring with bike rides and,
That's right.
and everything.
Yeah, should be great.
And exercise, to promote healthy exercise outside.
Yep, it's great. Well, hey, as is customary on this show, we offer you the last word. So what is it you'd like to tell the citizens of
I thought I've been doing that. Well, thank you very much. I came to answer your questions, and but I want to say to everyone out there, you have a great opportunity now to express your feelings. And as I mentioned, Brian Smith, and he is really promoting outdoor activities for exercise and all that. So I'm going to latch on to that. And I ask everybody, no matter, think about the elections and your town and the people that are involved. And whomever you decide you want to vote for whatever position, I am just asking you now, please exercise. A different kind of exercise. You want to go out bike ride, that's fine. But exercise your right to vote, because it is a privilege that you have earned, and it is your right. So thank you for listening to me, and I appreciate you talking with me today.
Absolutely. Peggy Barney, Ward 3 City Council. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.